From impossible illusions to bold gestures that shocked crowds, Jackson built a catalog of moves that weren't just steps, they were statements. Today, we're counting down 10 of Michael's most iconic, jaw-dropping dance moves. Each one tells us something about his genius, his swagger, and why no one has ever moved like the king of pop. Number 1. The Moonwalk. In 1983, during Billie Jean on the Motown 25 special, Michael slid backward while appearing to walk forward, and living rooms everywhere went silent. The moonwalk existed in street circles as the backslide, but when he delivered it, timed to the snare, shoulders liquid, face calm, it felt newly minted. The trick sits in weight transfer, one foot flat and driving, the other feather light. A heel peeling up as the supporting leg glides the body on a hidden conveyor belt. But the true magic wasn't only the feet, it was the setup and reveal. He teased with small steps, held the room with a still glance, then unleashed the glide in one clean, unbroken line. Cameras caught it head-on, the world stopped, then screamed. It became the shorthand for Michael's entire myth. Impossible, effortless, unforgettable. The moonwalk wasn't just a move, it was a promise that the ordinary rules didn't apply on his stage, and he had the timing to prove it. And just when the world thought that was the limit, he pushed even further. Number 2. The anti-gravity lean. When Smooth Criminal hit, the beat became a bank heist, and the choreography became a physics lesson you couldn't look away from. Michael and his dancers hinged forward at a jaw-dropping angle. Heels rooted, bodies arrow straight, faces serene, as if gravity had agreed to look the other way. Part ingenious stagecraft, part iron core discipline, the lean worked because the illusion felt effortless. He didn't just dip, he held it. He milked the disbelief for a full heartbeat, then snapped upright on the snare like nothing bizarre had happened. The lean's power is contrast. After sharp, staccato footwork and aggressive hits, the body suddenly turns into a plank, calm and impossible. Audiences didn't know whether to cheer or gasp, so they did both. It was showmanship boiled down to a single picture. One frame that says, everything you know about balance, forget it. And that visual became a legend all its own. If the moonwalk whispered magic, the lean said miracle, and then dared you to explain it. Number 3. The toe stand. Precision is the quiet twin of spectacle, and the toe stand proves it. In Billie Jean, he would rise onto the very tips of his toes and freeze there, perfectly balanced, like a statue that still somehow breathed. No wires, no edits, just tendon strength, immaculate alignment, and a fearless center of gravity. He often placed it after a flurry of spins, which made the sudden stillness hit even harder. The eye expects motion, and he gives you silence. The silhouette does half the talking. Hat brim pulled low, spine tall, ankles taut as cable, a single finger pointing to the rafters as if to say, that's the note. The toe stand isn't flashy on paper, but on stage, it's a victory flag. It turns balance into bravado, because in the middle of lights, screams, and moving parts, he can become a human exclamation mark. The kind of punctuation that makes the crowd erupt before the music even hits the next bar. Number 4. The circle slide. If the moonwalk is a sentence, the circle slide is a paragraph. It takes the same grammar, weight shifts, heel-to-toe whispers, masterful friction control, and curves it into orbit. Instead of gliding in a straight line, he traces a loop, skating the rim of an invisible planet. It's playful and dazzling, the kind of move that sneaks up on you because it's so smooth you almost miss the complexity. The circle tells a different story too. By turning the glide, he lets the audience see the illusion from multiple angles in one pass, a 360-degree proof that what you're seeing is as clean from the side as it is head-on. And it's versatile. He can widen the radius to cross a stage, or tighten it down to a hypnotic spin around the mic stand. The circle slide is choreography as geometry, drawing curves with rhythm, painting arcs with pressure and balance. It says, you thought the floor had rules, Watch me bend them into a loop. Number 5. The robot. Before the space-age polish of the solo years, young Michael was already flirting with futurism. The robot, those jerks and freezes, joints clicking like gears, made him look half human, half android. On Dancing Machine, he throttled the crowd with stop-motion accuracy, hitting tiny accents most people didn't even hear. The trick isn't mere stiffness, it's rhythm inside the stiffness, micro-timing that turns mechanical into musical. He'd slice the air with a forearm, lock the elbow like a hinge, let a shoulder pop travel like a signal down the arm, then kill the motion completely on a dime. That tension and release set the crowd up for surprise, because once he established himself as a precise machine, he could melt back into fluidity, proving he owned both extremes. The robot announced a young performer who already understood contrast. If you can dance like a machine and then instantly move like water, the audience stops trying to guess what comes next and just watches, wide-eyed. Number 6. The spin. On paper, it's simple. Turn fast, stop on the beat. In Michael's hands, the spin became stage alchemy. He'd coil the torso like a spring, rise a breath onto the ball of the foot, and flash, become a cyclone, jacket flaring in a perfect circle. 2 turns, 3, sometimes 4, each revolution tighter than the last, eye spotting the landing point as if guided by radar. The thrill isn't only speed, it's punctuation. He uses the spin as a drum fill you can see, a sonic flourish translated into motion. And the ending matters most. Either a sudden break into a sculpted pose, chin up and glove shining, or an immediate ascent into the toe stand, doubling the shock. Every audience thought they knew how a spin looks, then learned how it feels when the right performer snaps it into a living exclamation mark. It's the perfect bridge move, launching him from one idea to the next while the crowd tries to catch its breath. Number 7. The kick. Energy needs edges, and Michael's signature kicks carve them in the air. Clean, high, and laser straight, his legs sliced upward like a drawn sword, perfectly timed to a shout or a snare crack. Sometimes it swung like a pendulum, a controlled arc that cut across the beat. Sometimes it fired on the diagonal with startling speed. The aesthetics are martial but musical. The leg doesn't flail, it sings the note the drummer just played. He used kicks to punctuate transitions, to shock the tempo forward, to embody confrontation in songs built on attitude. What sells the move is precision. Toes pointed, knee tracked, core braced, and power originating from the hip and exiting the line like a whip crack. Paired with a heel click or a quick body turn, the kick becomes both emphasis and direction change. It says, I own the downbeat and I can kick it into place. And the audience feels that command as much as they see it. Number 8. The crotch grab. Call it bold, call it controversial, but never call it forgettable. The crotch grab became a lightning rod because it fused rhythm with provocation, style with scandal. Crucially, it wasn't tossed in randomly. He timed it like a drum fill, snapping the gesture on a break or accent so it felt musical, not merely shocking. The mechanics are compact, core tight, knees alive, chest lifted, so the gesture reads like a spark rather than a scream. Critics clutched pearls, crowds erupted. Part of its power is contrast. He might follow a silken glide with a jolt of attitude, and in that whiplash, the stage suddenly feels dangerous. It became shorthand for unapologetic confidence. The moment he seized control of a room's temperature and turned it up 2 clicks. Combine it with a head whip, a snap roll through the torso, or a rapid spin, and the single gesture becomes a chain reaction. Whether you loved it or hated it, you remembered it. And that's the point.
Number 9. The shuffle/side slide. Sideways flight. That's the side slide. Not backward like the moonwalk, but lateral, as if the floor turned to ice and invited him to skate. The feet do deceitful things. One pushes while the other yields, weight sneaking from edge to edge, so the body appears to drift on rails. It reads playful, less, how is that possible, and more, why does that feel so good? The side slide is social. Fans try it, laugh, try again, and for a second, they get the joy of controlled glide. For Michael, it's connective tissue, the silk between fireworks. He uses it to cruise into formation, to orbit a bandmate, to transition from hard-hitting accents back into smooth phrasing without losing momentum. Because it's understated, it sets up surprise. The softer the slide, the harder the next hit lands. In a set full of jaw-droppers, the side slide is the smile, a reminder that mastery can be fun, and groove can be as thrilling as spectacle. Number 10. The hip thrust and snap rolls. Some moves explain themselves. The hip thrust is pure voltage, short, sharp, impossible to ignore. Timed to the kick drum, it acts like a spark plug for the whole set, flipping the crowd from warm to boiling in a single beat. Michael didn't waste it, he aimed it. One perfectly placed thrust could turn a chorus into an earthquake. Layer in snap rolls through the shoulders and chest, those quick staccato ripples that shoot across the torso, and you get a chain reaction, as if rhythm traveled through wire from the hips to the collarbones. It's choreography as charisma. Isolate a joint, then cascade the energy across the frame so every eye in the arena tracks the same wave. The thrusts and rolls are simple ideas delivered with frightening accuracy, which is why they read so loudly on giant stages. They're not about mechanics you can diagram, they're about connection you feel in your sternum. When he hits them, the whole building jumps. 10 moves, 1 message. Mastery isn't a trick, it's a system. Michael Jackson engineered surprise with contrast, glide against snap, circle against line, stillness against storm. He turned physics into theater, and theater into memory. This is just one of the many reasons why MJ still, to this day, solidifies himself as the king of pop. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our newest release.